you. Yes.
Yes, okay. Yeah, 'cause every now and then I saw some glitch with Instagram where the sound was funny, so I had to put my headphones and it didn't work.
Actually, it's a little faint. I'm hearing a little faint. Can you say it a little louder?
Oh, really? You want me to say it louder? Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure I can actually do it, but yeah, I can talk louder. But that could be your headphones too. That could be if you haven't turned them up or your volume on the phone. So you guys, who's connected? Can you hear me okay? Tell me how the sound is. Do you need to talk louder? Because there's nothing I can do. I don't have a microphone actually for these slides. I do put headphones on every now and then if it doesn't work, and they look hideous. All right, so we start nice and easy, and so you guys, this is Ellen Webster. I've invited her because she's running over a successful entrepreneurial women group, and when I talked to her, I knew she would have so much juice and knowledge to share with the audience I have. So we decided to do what is self-value that leads to success. Like if we have the self-value right, the self-boundaries right, so then that leads to success, right, Ellen? Is that correct? Is that what you decided to do? Yes, correct me if I got it wrong. I'm just
Yeah, and I am having a hard time hearing you.
Well, how about you turn up your volume?
All the way up.
It's all the way up, really?
Yep.
Okay. You guys, who's in the audience? Is there anyone else who could tell me if you can hear me okay? Or is well, I can talk loud about the screaming. The other thing I could do, let's see. So if I put a headphones on.
And I'll try mine in to see if I can hear.
You are actually breaking. Can you tell? Okay.
I'm breaking.
Yeah, how's it now? How's my sound now?
How's that? Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Yes. And how's my sound?
It's still muffled.
Still muffled? Okay, let's find my headphones.
Okay, how is this?
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. It just look ugly, but okay.
No, you don't. Your head was suited for headphones.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right, Ellen. So why don't you tell us a bit more about what you do and who you focus on helping these days, and we take it from there.
Okay.
And actually, let me pull up the notes. Go ahead. Tell us.
Yeah. So I do work with women who are like me, older, probably 60 plus women. And my business is called Aging Buoyantly. And what that really boils down to is that I work with people in this phase of life where we come full circle in human development. And it's a time when a lot of cultures tell us that we have to narrow who we are, become smaller. And as women, we've already been told that for most of our lives. And what I want to do, what I want to do is work to help people see that this is the perfect time to have a spacious life with a lot more joy and with making very peaceful relationships.
I love that. Okay. So, and how have you arrived at the whole giving value about the full-bodied life to people? How have you arrived there? Because I feel, actually, I don't know because I talked to you for half an hour, but I feel there is lots of depth and wisdom in you.
Yeah.
And that's really why I invited you to be here. And yeah, I know you have so many things to share. So this is just like one random topic that we can share for everyone. So how did you arrive into being able to be such a guide to
and you know, there are many things that we could talk about, but they all come back to having an awareness that the most important relationship in our lives is with ourselves. That is the fundamental relationship that we really need to nurture and cherish and work on. So yes, we're looking at one aspect of it, but it's like looking into a small piece of a mirror. Everything is reflected in a small piece. And so we can talk about values, but it also pertains to other things. And how I arrived at it was I've been doing this work for about 15 years. And I was working with women and I was working with parents who had medically challenged children. I have one of those. And then during COVID, I let the business go. And in May, I went diving. I started diving about 30 years ago. And my husband and I had not been in 4 years. We went diving, and suddenly everything was different. I had gained weight. I couldn't get under the water. I was having technical difficulties, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It was miserable. And I realized on that trip that I had to make a decision. I also realized that I wasn't managing the fact that I'm 66 and now officially a senior citizen very well. And so when I came home, I decided to do a lot of introspective work to say, do I want to let this time happen to me, or do I want to take charge of this time and make it what I want it to be? And when I came to the realization that I do want to make it what I want it to be, that's when I said, and I want to bring other people along with me. I want a community of women doing this. So that's when I got very serious about going back into the work with a very specific niche of helping older women really bring a lot more buoyancy to their lives.
I love that, which means probably that you are taking charge of how you want your life to evolve, designing it before as well, right?
Yeah,
Because yeah,
yeah,
that's what lots of people don't do. Like I look at my mom's peers and even my mom, who's like this smart, buoyant woman, but there is so much more like in my mind she could do from a
yeah,
spiritual perspective. She's not supposed to. She's supposed to be doing what she's doing, like I'm just
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah,
But yeah, lots of people kind of let stuff happen
yeah.
to them. So when did you decide, or what was the path to like I can actually design my life?
I got shades of that since I started this work 15 years ago, and a lot of it is based on heart math, which some people may have heard of, and I think it's been evolving. But what I really became very aware of, both in having a child who had medical issues and in the aging process, is that we cannot control what diagnosis is going to come into our lives, what financial surprises are going to come into our lives, what moves, who knows what the changes may be. We cannot control that, but we can make a decision to, despite that, to live this really big, bright, colorful life and include all of that into it. It doesn't mean we push it away, we push it down. We actually get real about it.
Right. So what is your biggest brightful life? And now maybe with your kid in the picture as well, right?
My son's doing really well. He's 26. He graduated college. He's working in sports marketing, and I have a daughter who's uh, a resident at a hospital in the Bronx in New York. So on that end, everything's going really well. Everything's fine. Um, but I did spend 16 years with that being the focus of my life. And now it's like, wow, I don't have that to be the priority. I am not working a 9 to 5 job. And so I'm really seeing that this designing what I want it to be has to be almost a co-conspiracy with all the things that happen as you age and your knees get creaky and you don't sleep as well and you don't want to drive at night as much. All of that is kind of folded into, okay, that's going on. We'll deal with that, but I want to deal with it from a place in my heart. And
I
I want to
like
deal
that.
with it, yeah, with
Yeah.
some intuition.
Yeah, because the other thing people do, and I like how you say like things happen, and you should have the vision anyway.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
what happens to lots of people, one, they don't tune into intuition or heart or however you want to call that. And the other thing, what they do once they start tuning into it, if they get on the path, then often their regular life gets in the way and they let it take over and they kind of lose the vision of what they wanted from themselves, the big buoyant picture. And they're kind of like, oh, this is what I have to do now.
yeah.
So yeah, so how do you not slip back into, okay, I could just do the average.
Well, I have three ideas on how you do that so that you don't slip back in. And that is, especially as a woman, the first way is to really get comfortable. And I know this is really, 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 really hard with boundary setting. And I think of it as, buoyant boundaries. We're just going to adjust as we need to, and we're going to keep prioritizing, because I think what boundaries do is that they help us define what's most important to us. And I know that I felt a boundary coming from you this weekend that was really welcome. I had asked you if we could connect on Sunday or this morning, and your reply was so loving toward yourself and toward me when you said, I really want to take Sunday off and on Monday until the live. Could we connect today on Saturday? And I thought, wow, there is a woman that understands that everybody's needs can be met when we have clear language and we're setting a very clear boundary. And I think everyone can do that, even just starting with something as simple as um, turning your phone onto mute or turning it into do not disturb when you're with another human being who has
Oh
given
yeah.
their time to you,
Yes.
even if it's for a cup of coffee. I can't think of one single person in the world that feels good when somebody prioritizes a text or a call that comes in
Over
when you
them.
have
Yeah.
given your time. Yeah, yeah,
Well, unless they're so numbed down by actually being engrossed in the phone that they kind of find it normal, but it doesn't mean that their
yeah,
body, their subconscious, their energy doesn't feel it.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's quite it's quite amazing how many people actually do have their phone on the table whilst they're
right.
talking. I actually make it a point, unless I'm expecting something or we are looking at something together, to
Hmm.
put it in the bag.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
I think
So
there's less of that in Europe than there is here in the States. You can't go down the street without, you know, 80% of people being on their
oh
phone.
my God, you need to take a video for me because you're in New York, right? And
Yeah,
then I'll take
yeah,
a video for you and let's compare. Yeah. Well, I did actually. So I do this like once a blue moon, but today I was walking like this
yeah, yeah, yeah,
from the tram stop, and I was so self-conscious of it because there was something I wanted to check really quick before we connect, and I was like, I need to look this up. I need to look this up.
yeah.
Sorry, I'll need to. I do sneeze.
Bless you.
Okay, maybe I should bring a tissue.
Okay, that was fast.
Yeah, yeah, I have things handy, but yeah, I kind of forgot about tissues. So,
Do you want me to tell you another way that I think that we can
yes, please.
expand those
Yeah,
lives?
yeah, yeah. And I really like actually, let's circle back for a second to
Yeah.
the boundaries. So, why do you think it's so hard for so many people, so many women to have any boundaries in communication and like when they want to see people, how they want to do things?
I think it's really hard because I can only speak to the culture I grew up in, which was in the States, is that our time is not our own. The roles that we are given at birth is to be of service and to be flexible and to be accommodating and to be quiet. And so setting boundaries goes against all of those messages that we get early on. I think that's why it's hard, especially for women.
Yeah, yeah. So when we flip it, when we go creating the boundaries like I did for us at the weekend, so
Yeah.
what does that turn into so people can understand it that they have never tuned into it? So what does it help?
Oh, oh. Well, the main thing it does is it sets priorities, right? You had a priority to have downtime, to have rest, to have nourishment. I had a need to get information and connect. And what you did in setting a boundary was to say, my needs are valuable, your needs are valuable. Let's find something in the middle. And I think what it also does is it begins to tell other people that we value time that is not unstructured. We value structured time. And in that structured time, we may choose to be creative, to have self-expression. We may choose to rest. We may choose to take it to our business and say, I have a block of time where I am creating something, or I am responding to emails in this 1 45-minute segment. I am not going to be interrupted by texts and phone calls. This is my time to do this. And so I think it adds to efficiency and to leads to the fact that we become more successful.
Yeah, I like that. I also feel it as guarding of your energy, kind of recognizing what your energy flow is like,
Yeah,
and knowing kind of what it's like on a weekly basis, what it's like on a daily basis, and tuning into it every day. And then we are body-wise, mind-wise, energy-wise, different energy types. So it's for everyone to kind of find it out for himself or have a mentor or coach to help them with
right,
that.
right.
For me personally, I have very little time I can spend with people. So people can't tell because when I'm with someone, like, I'm full on, I'm fully present, I'm so giving, I can turn things around for the world. But then I need to recharge
Yeah,
because energetically, from if you look at it from human design, I don't have my own energy. So I actually need to kind of bounce off energy and then go like, okay, then retreat so that I can come up with a big, the next big thing. Big next thing. There's no word.
yes,
So yeah.
yes. And that's a great example of both giving and receiving. You cannot be fully present with somebody if you don't have boundaries, because everything flows into everything else, right?
I like that. Yeah, and so many people do it, right? Especially like
Yeah,
as there are the phones and the ongoing demands.
yeah,
So we have the idea like we have to be everywhere, but
yes,
if you are everywhere,
yeah,
you are nowhere
right,
at the same time. So
right,
yeah, I
yeah.
like that. Okay, so baby boundaries. So
Mm-hmm,
boundaries. So you can
mm-hmm.
start baby steps,
That's right.
and
Right.
let's go for the second one. What is your second one?
The second one comes as a surprise to a lot of people because we don't speak in this language very often. It comes from nonviolent communication, and it's the idea that you have permission to have needs in your life. And having needs does not mean you are needy. And I'll give you an example that also relates to you. So when you asked me to do this, I started this really hard investigation and I thought, what am I feeling with this invitation? And what I was feeling was happy, a little surprised, um, excited. And then I looked a layer deeper and I'm thinking, what are these feelings telling me about my needs? And we can think of either having met needs or unmet needs, and we can usually tell what we're experiencing because our emotions match that. So we're going to have life affirming feelings, and that would be, another word would be positive feelings when our needs are met. And we would have life diminishing or feelings or hard feelings when our needs are not being met. So when you gave this invitation, my needs were met for contribution to your community. They were met for being seen. I have a need to be seen in my life, as I think everybody does in some degree or another. I have a need to celebrate this work that I'm finally realizing is mine to do. And so those do not make me a needy person because I need those things. I think it makes me a stronger person. And it also works if you have a difficult situation. So let's say a friend doesn't respond to a text that you send them inviting them to have coffee or something. What might I be feeling? I might be feeling sad. I might be feeling confused. I might be feeling hurt.
Rejected,
And
maybe.
reject we don't use as a need
Okay.
because it's more
Okay.
of a thought process. You have
Okay.
to think
Okay.
someone else is rejecting you. So I'm
hmm
only naming
The
feelings that I
feelings in
can.
the body that you can label.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And when I look further at those, I have needs that are not being met when my friend doesn't respond. And those needs are for connection, for reassurance that the friendship is alive and well, for fun. And maybe I have a need also to be seen in that situation. But I think my greatest need there would be a need for connection that's not being met. So again, it does not make me a needy person. It makes me a fully functioning human being who is looking deep enough into myself that I can say, oh, poor baby, you just needed to connect. Let's find another way to connect with somebody. And suddenly, it's not that person's responsibility to meet my needs. I can get that done on my own, but I'm more informed when I can say to myself, I have permission to have needs.
Right. And so then when you realize you have permission to have needs, there needs to be a following step into how you communicate the needs or how you process the needs yourself, right? So I really like the idea as you were responding to the invitation I gave you to going checking with yourself. It is something
Mhm.
you need, you want to tune into, right? Because
Yeah,
what we often do without the boundaries is going, okay, if someone invites me to do a live, oh my God, it's an honor. Even on a small channel, I need to be there. And we don't really think about if that invitation is worth of our energy. So
yeah, yes, yes.
so what do we do if to communicate the need and then to process it within us, because that's something people probably don't know if they never consider, like, oh my God, I can think about my needs.
I think this is one of the big, big parts of the work I do is really helping people understand those needs, not apologize for their needs, and then find strategies to get the most important needs met. So if I find over and over that I have a need for community and maybe it's not being met, or maybe it is being met, but if I know that that's a really important thing to me, I can find ways to get that met. If I don't know that about me, I just am in a constant state of agitation and annoyance because you aren't meeting my need for connection or community, right? I'm putting it all on you.
Yeah, and because the person isn't aware of that, so then they are unconsciously overloading someone or maybe
Right,
complaining
right.
something unrelated to it. So do you have a system with your clients how you go checking what needs are not
Yeah,
met? You kind
yeah.
of
It's a whole
go,
system.
yeah,
It's a
okay.
whole process, and I do it. I've done it 3 times today already. I do it on paper. You can do it with another person. You can certainly do it just in your head. It works in the moment that something happens. Let's say you're triggered by something unexpected, and it could be even something very minor. And within a minute, I can bore down and say, "Oh, that's what it is. I had a need for efficiency, and because I missed the train, efficiency is out the window." Now that I know that, I can give myself empathy that maybe I didn't get here soon enough, and I can check the schedule. Okay, 10 minutes, I've lost 10 minutes. But there's compassion that I'm able to give when I know what my needs are.
Yourself,
Yeah,
right? Because
myself.
people often don't work on being self-compassionate and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
compassion. Yeah, I have any idea how compassion works towards others, but how does it work towards me? Yeah, because I don't know how about you, but like my mom, even though like she is the most mindful person of her age I know, she was not really taught how to be self-compassionate, and she didn't teach me
yeah,
that. So
yeah,
there were these little
yeah,
moments when, like I would be crying or screaming, and she would tell me something like, "Oh, don't
yeah,
cry," and I'm like,
yeah,
"Well."
yeah,
And then I realized that years later, when I was stepping into this work, right, like 15 years ago only, at the age of 25, like, oh my God, I wasn't allowed to cry.
yeah,
What the
yeah,
heck? And then, and then being with myself, really, I was instructed to just escape that space
yeah.
and not experience it. So I really like that. Okay, so we've got baby boundaries and giving you the permission to have needs, giving
Permission to have
yourself,
needs.
yeah,
Yeah.
permission to have needs. And then we have one more, right?
I have one plus a bonus one.
Please.
Um, the other one is, do you think that you have choice in your life? And I present this as, I'll just throw this out to anyone out there. Do you see yourself as a people pleaser? Because if you do, you probably don't give yourself a whole lot of choices. And again, this gets back to the way we've been so socialized and cultured and raised is that if you're a woman and you're asked to do something, you generally comply, whether it's at work, at home. Assumptions are made that the woman is going to cook, clean, and buy groceries, raise children, take care of the finances, and all of this. And I would just challenge that and say, do you know you have a choice? And I would say, unless there's an emergency situation, you always have a choice. You have a choice to present something like you did with the boundaries and say, let's have a compromise here. That's a choice. That is enacting a choice. And I think that the more often we ask the question, do I have a choice here? If somebody calls, like you said in the idea about the needs, if someone calls and say, I'd like you to be on my podcast, and you see that it's a podcast about sailing, and they want to know how to use intuition with sailing, you might say yes, or you might say, my time is not best spent in that arena at this time, and you would thank them, but you would have the choice to say no.
Yeah, yeah. And we don't realize often we have the choice, whether it's like work or relationships, or maybe it's in intimate situations, right?
Yeah,
People just don't go saying like, oh, I have a choice to say no now, really? Like, I was like, I'm done, I'm going to sleep.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, or
yeah.
like with friends, I remember the
And that
first
works
course.
for the opposite one too. You can say no, but you can also have the choice to initiate, right?
You mean
In
okay, yeah,
in an intimate
of course,
situation.
yeah, of
Yeah,
course. Or in any situation we don't realize we can
yeah,
initiate. Yeah, yeah. I remember a couple of things. I was somewhere at a party again 15 years ago before I started doing all this. It's probably like,
yeah.
oh, things can be better. And a friend of mine who was younger goes telling me at 1 in the morning, "Hello, Lydia." Goes telling me at 1 in the morning, "Well, Jolly, if you're tired, you can go home." I was like, what?
What?
I, I literally, I remember how dumb, we can be. So I'm standing there 1 in the morning, and I thought probably I'm supposed to be there till 2 or whatever. And I'm thinking I need to have like, Diet Coke or something to
Yeah,
stay here.
yeah,
And she's like, you
yeah.
could also go to sleep. It's like, wow, I literally never thought about that until my age of 25, where I can decide to leave a party. you know just so dumb. Imagine how many people stay in a meeting, stay at a dinner, stay in
Yeah,
a marriage, like
yeah,
wherever, just because they don't realize they have a choice. And the same goes, yeah, as you said, with the opposite. So when I started doing what I do and studying everything around it, how it's done, I had a coach who would go like, so the best way you can do stuff is to adopt the first row approach. I was like, okay, what's that? It's
What
like,
is that?
well, you go into the first row. So I don't know how about you, but I often do that anyway.
Oh,
So
wow.
when I'm in a yoga class, when I'm at a lecture, and there's free seating, I go into the first row because, I'm thinking, so in case I want to communicate, well, I have a bigger chance probably. I'm definitely going to, see the person better, hear better. There's
Yeah,
probably going to be similar first row energy in there. Whilst, the shy people, okay, like I don't want to be seen. I'm not sure what I want to do in my life, maybe. I'll go to the back so no one
yeah.
can see me. So, so I'd be
No,
always
you don't
thinking the
strike
bus.
me as a back row person.
Well, I definitely have taken back row, like today I
Oh,
did at my yoga class. But generally, I think when you can, and again, you want to tune in what do you need that day, it's
yeah,
good to
yeah,
go into the first row because then you are getting first row treatment,
yes,
even if
yes,
no one talks to
yeah,
you, you actually are in direct energy. So,
yeah. It's amazing how many choices we make in a day, and sometimes we do them by not choosing, right? Indecision is
yeah,
decision. And but the whole idea of a positive outlook on what choice means can be like just this whole bouquet of flowers opening up in the springtime where it's like, wow, I didn't know I could say, raise my hand and say, I'll be back in a minute. And you have to step outside, you have to get water, you have to breathe, whatever it may be. And we are limiting ourselves when we do not see the choices we have.
I love that. So let's invite the audience, whoever's listening to this, if you're already doing it, good, go and maybe spend a day observing how you're doing with it, because we often tend to fall
Yeah,
out of like habits that we
yeah,
acquire at some
yeah,
point.
yeah.
Like, you know, like having all the supplements or all the amazing oil in the kitchen. I don't know how about you, but sometimes I forget it. I have them. So the same goes to habits. And if you're not doing it yet, why don't you take a day and go choosing to make a choice consciously, maybe being in the first row or maybe saying no. And let me just show you something,
Yes.
because I have this little
Oh,
boy,
hi,
yeah,
puppy.
and so this is why, like, if you see me jerking a bit, it's because, like, yeah, he wants to have it in his mouth. And I'm not sure if you ever heard, but doodles, they can be a bit of attention seekers. So if he knows
Oh,
I'm with someone, so here he is. Normally he goes to sleep, right? But here he is. Can you just fool my piggy?
oh, oh. He's just so beautiful. I wish he was
Yeah,
here to pet. Yeah.
he's super adorable. Let's show his face. So wait, there we go. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, there we go. Okay, I love that. You have a
yeah.
choice. You have a choice. And also, let me just mention one thing people don't realize. You said it. Let me emphasize that not making a choice is a choice, and it costs the same energy. It costs the same amount of energy.
Yeah.
So by this, I'm not blaming anyone. I will make an example of waking up in the morning. I'm not blaming anyone for sleeping in. But if you decide to sleep in after you made a commitment to yourself that you're going to wake up, and maybe you wake up and you're super exhausted and you can afford to actually sleep in, and I would recommend that if, like, you know, your muscles are hurting or whatever.
Right, right.
But if you're just waking up and you know you're supposed to do something for yourself and you're deciding, I will not go to the gym. No, I will not call Ellen today to book the appointment. That just feels like, so you decide to sleep in. That calls the same effort as waking up and starting with your day. So people don't realize that like not making a choice
It does.
costs it
It
costs the same
does.
effort. Yeah,
Yeah.
whether it seems like that or not.
And it
All right, Pearl.
actually can pull into the low energy feelings that can drain you so magnificently. You know, the idea of these low energy, just kind of stagnant feelings have physiologically do a lot of damage to our bodies.
They do.
Yeah,
I would dare say that for some people it can cause some, serious stuff like
yeah,
heart issues or cancers even. You suppressing yourself, like not really being your full expression.
yeah,
That's a big thing that can cause, yeah, lots of damage. And yeah, people don't realize that staying in, not being your full self, not following your joy. Also, like when you said you were tuning into if it's joyful for you to connect with me. I think that's a big one people don't realize. You
yeah.
can actually check, like, is the thing that you want to do, is the person that you want to work with, be with, does it feel joyful? And
Yes,
if it does, then you definitely you definitely should do that. And if you're
yes.
doing loads of things in your life that don't feel joyful, then perhaps you want to do a little audit on that. So yeah, there's people also don't realize, wait a second, I can feel joyful, like I can feel like a
Yeah.
lot joyful, like not just like on my birthday or when.
Or out at a bar, right? I mean, to let down your energy that way, you can choose to build those endorphins throughout the day, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
true. Yeah,
yeah,
and that's by the waking up, which by the way works really well if you sleep, because people also don't want to
yeah,
wake up because they don't sleep well.
yeah.
All right, what is the bonus one? So wait, I'll just make a little recap. So we had, so to get your self value and easily go towards a success. So you go making boundaries. You can start with baby boundaries, like not going somewhere, turning your phone off. You realize there's maybe a little pondering to do and starting to do. You actually can have needs. You allow yourself to have needs, and then you have a choice. You have a choice. Ponder about that. And what is the bonus one?
The bonus one, I think, gets to the heart of what it is to be a fully connected human being who wants to be in intimate relationships. And by that, I mean authentic relationships. And that is to not allow people into your life who you call a friend, but they don't support you. So if I think I want to just say in the simplest terms, surround yourself with people who want the best for you and for whom you want the best, because anything other than that is going to be a drain, and it is not setting good boundaries, and it is not getting your needs met, and it is not making good choices. So being able to say to yourself, I feel good in this relationship and this one drains me, and to recognize you don't have time in this life for that.
I love that. But then how would you go about people like my mom and her friends who are just happy to have friends? So my mom has recently made new friends, which I think is
Yeah,
amazing. You know, like I don't know how about
yeah,
you, but I think most people who are past 30, it's a little harder for them to get new friends,
yes,
right? Well, first, energetically, the way it works is when you have the intention. So if you have the intention, people don't understand like how does it work? It works. Trust me, it
yes,
works. If you have the
yes,
intention, that works. So for some reason, my mom decided she wanted new friends because she had a dog. We shared a dog, actually, shared custody. And now she has three new friends. Imagine, like three, not one, three new friends.
wow.
But what I have seen with them, so on the one hand, I'm super happy she has friends. On the other hand, being the loving and unfortunately with her, because she's the closest person to me, criticizing person I am, I see that the friends are not fully supportive of her. So one of
Oh,
them, yeah, so one of them, I don't remember, one of them gossiped about her basically, saying something like, oh my gosh, she has a maid, do you know that? So she learned it from some other one. And the other one, and there is no bad intention in that, right? But it does have effect. And the other one is anxious. It's one of those
mm.
victim anxious people who go telling
Oh,
you,
yeah, yeah.
right, that the world
Hmm.
is dangerous, and it's so dangerous that she's got attacked twice in her life. Well, guess what? Victims get attacked. I'm sorry, but
Yeah,
like I've never got attacked. I don't know people around me who got, okay, I've heard like two people who got mugged, but somewhere
yeah,
like in New York, side alley, like here is super safe.
yeah,
Actually, we have like, one
yeah.
of the lowest criminalities. So yeah, so she would get attacked, marked, I don't know what. Then someone would run away from her or whatever. A partner. I'm like, well, guess what? That's because you go blaming everyone about everything in the whole world.
Yes,
So
yeah.
what would you say to people like that who think, because if you probably told this to my mom, I would say that she was, so I'm happy to have these friends. Come on, like I'm 75. I'm happy that someone turned up in my life and I have people to, hang out with.
What I would say is that there are different levels of friends, and the ones that we keep closest, the ones that we say are the closest, should fit that bill of there being this circle of love and this circle of support. And of course, we all have off days. Of course, we slip into victimhood sometimes, but we don't live there. We don't reside there. And so what I've done in my own life is purge some of those friends. And I don't mean completely, but I've just taken away their power to influence me. So I could still get together with them in community. We could still go to movies. We could still, if I was young enough to still be doing happy hours, we would do that. But they are not the people that I am going to tell my secrets to. I am not going to tell them how I'm developing my business. I am not going to tell them what my
Your
goals
big
are.
dreams, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You have to earn that, and you have to show me that this is a relationship based on equity. And
I
if it
like that.
isn't, you
Hmm.
move out to one of the outer circles where we
Yeah,
still can have fun.
I
And
like
I
that.
think your mom is doing the right thing. She's building a community of people she can have fun with,
Yeah.
and maybe she won't, maybe they won't be the closest as you are, but they still could have a place as long as it's not confused one for the other.
Yeah, so you would say be conscious of what you're sharing with the people, be conscious of what you're
Right,
adopting from the people,
right.
right? Like, yeah, I
Yeah,
like that. And you don't
yeah,
really need to take on their energy if you don't like
yeah.
it. And you don't actually have to spend the time with them
Right,
like when they want
right.
to, if that's not a need you have at the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah.
Right. I love that. Okay. That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right. So we have four self-value things that we have mentioned that lead to your success because it starts from you. It
It
all
does.
starts from you, as Ellen says. So the first one is boundaries. You can start with baby boundaries, like saying no to someone, turning your phone off, or turning it on don't disturb. By the way, my phone is on don't disturb all day.
Okay.
Yeah, you cannot call me. Actually, I don't like calling. So unless we agree that we're going to
Yes,
call.
yes.
So I call my mom. I call like a few of my friends. The
Hmm.
person is my partner, so I do call those people, and the rest I don't call. Then the second one was giving yourself permission that you have needs. So that gets
Yes,
you to realize that you are your own person and you need to guard your energy. And that leads you to realizing you have a choice. You have a
yes,
choice to say no,
yes.
to initiate, and we probably want to go bigger than not because we tend to have the tendency to kind of like go into the back row.
Right, right, right.
So
Exactly.
don't do
Yeah,
that. And then be mindful of your community. And if you're
yeah,
afraid that your community would fire you, outcast you, don't worry, set the intention that you will meet them. Actually, it did happen to me. So on my path, because I grow so much, I did have to kind of not communicate as much with some people who weren't so either inspiring or
yes,
positive. And guess what? I got new people in my life. It's just amazing that even though part of me goes like, but wait a second, I am turning 40, so I'm nowhere at school or in an office or at parties to meet people. But I did meet other amazing females
yeah.
through a friend of mine. One day she just goes, do you want to meet amazing, successful women? I'm like, yes, yes,
Oh,
please.
yes.
Sign me up. So I went to dinner
Yeah.
and I just made a bunch of
Wow.
friends.
And
Yeah,
when you do that, you're making space in your life for it.
yeah,
And yeah,
exactly. Yeah, you kind of, that's a good one too. Yeah, set the intention, making the space.
yeah,
Because if you're thinking you don't have the space, then it will not appear
yeah,
really. And the same with anything, with money, with partner, with the
yeah.
next thing in your career, with new clients. I remember you said you have some wonderful gift for the audience.
Oh, I do. I would love to send anyone a copy of, I have 104 a checklist of 104 ways that you can appreciate yourself. And it goes from interactions with other people that you might observe in yourself to things that are just between you and yourself. And it ranges from just being able to look at somebody on the street and smile. Did you do that today? I bet you did.
Yeah, yeah,
I
I
mean,
do it
check
usually.
it off. Give yourself appreciation for that because you're spreading really good stuff. And then things about yourself. Are you able to look yourself in the mirror and
I
smile? And
love that. Yeah,
yeah,
lots of
yeah,
people they just go like, yeah, I'll just do the hair, little hair, and I'm running away.
yeah, yeah. So I would love to send that to anybody. It's very simple little checklist, and yet I do think it will get you to think about all the ways that you already have to appreciate yourself and value yourself.
Or kind of
And
improve to increase the energy, and with that the self value, and with that the
yes,
success, right?
yes,
How
yes.
can people
Just
get it?
you could send me maybe you can help me use the right words on the
DM,
Instagram.
a DM, yeah. A
Okay.
message on Instagram. Yeah, you guys, Ellen is on Instagram the first time. Well done, you're amazing. So this will be on my YouTube as well. So if you guys watching this on Instagram, then go ahead, go to Ellen's Instagram, which is Ellen, what is it?
Ellen Webster, like the
Uh-huh.
dictionary, Ellen
Mm-hmm.
Webster dot joy,
Dot
Joy.
joy. Okay, so Ellen Webster
Yeah.
dot joy. Is it Ellen with double L? Yeah.
ELLEN. Yes. Yeah.
By the way, like when you guys see this on my profile, there you can click over. Ellen will be tagged, and message Ellen. Send her a DM. Is there a particular word that they should send to get this checklist of appreciation that brings you to success?
I would just say me. Just say
Me,
me.
okay, me,
Claim
ME.
it. Claim
Okay,
it.
claim it, me, okay. And if you are guys watching this on my YouTube, then you can either head over to Instagram and find ellenwebster.joy and send her a message me to get this wonderful 124 questions appreciation list
Yes.
that gets you on the way to your stack. Because I'm pretty sure that Ellen spent loads of time with that and her life value is in there. Or how can people reach you otherwise if they are watching this on YouTube?
You could contact me on my email address. My website is being revised right now. So it's Ellen at ellenwebster.com.
I love that. Okay, Ellen at
Yes,
ellenwebster.com. Okay, I love that you have the
exactly.
domain with the Webster because yeah, it must be important. Okay, all right, perfect. And you guys, if you are watching this before the 30th of February, I'm doing a beautiful prosperity masterclass. So you can either comment pivot if you're on Instagram, PIVOT. If you're on YouTube, there's a link to sign up. It's completely for free. I'm offering it for a limited period of time, completely for free, even though it's worth $599. And you are going to learn 4 ways how to up your income and how to liberate time. I will share how I pivoted into the audience I'm right now working with. And I have upped my income more than 3 times in my life. I was counting it today. It has been 10 times I managed to up my income, but that is in the last 15 years. Not to get you, into the idea you can do this overnight, but I'm pretty sure anybody can up somehow their income because my clients have been doing that, and that's what e-class helps you to do. Now, mind you, I'm an energy coach. I'm a prosperity coach, so everything I talk about is about energy and mindset. So I won't be giving you charts and your financial audit so that you get that. All right, Ellen, I'm so happy we could do this.
Oh, I just love talking with you. You just exude joy, Dolly. It's really a pleasure, and I feel hopeful just knowing so many wonderful women are coming up behind, and yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
exciting.
amazing. I do
Yeah.
have men coming to me too, even though I don't target them. It's interesting. I do get like corporate men who have companies.
Uh-huh.
Fix my
Uh-huh.
team. Fix my
Fix my team.
fix
Yeah.
my team. Yeah, so I fix people's
Any
team. Yeah,
gender. Yeah.
yeah. It's most women I do, but yeah, then I get some wonderful conscious men who
Yes.
already meditate, which is
Yes.
amazing. I'm always like, yay, you exist.
They
All
do. They
right. Yeah.
do.
All right, you guys. I'll leave you with that. Do message Ellen, me to get her freebie on appreciation and increasing your self value with that. And do join my pivot class. There's going to be a replay as well. So then message me anywhere or comment to this pivot PIVOT. Or if you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube, there's going to be a link to sign up. All right. I love you, Ellen. Until next time. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye,
Bye
everyone.
bye.